The DJI Pocket 3 is already one of the best cameras for filming yourself on the go, but now the Pocket 4 is here with better dynamic range, full D-Log, 4K 240, improved tracking, and a bunch of other features. The real question is, are those upgrades enough to actually matter? Well, after testing both, I think the DJI Pocket 4 may be worth it to some creators. So let's compare these two cameras side by side to see which one is right for you. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by DJI. We bought this camera ourselves to test. And as always, everything I say in this video is my honest opinion. Upon first glance, the Pocket 4 looks very similar to the Pocket 3. It's honestly hard to tell the difference, but looking a little closer, the Pocket 4 is slightly taller and a bit heavier. And part of the reason is because DJI added a larger battery inside, which we'll touch on more later on in the video. But along the side of the Pocket 4 is this gray textured grip, which I feel like it makes it a little bit more secure if you're holding it. Now, flipping open the screen reveals two new buttons underneath the display. The first is a dedicated zoom button, so instead of tapping through the screen, you can just press this button to quickly punch into your footage. Right next to that is a custom button. You can set this up to do a few different things. I have mine set up to flip the camera around by pressing it once, press it twice to recenter the gimbal, and 3 times to lock the gimbal in place. Now, these buttons may not seem like a big deal, but if you're just trying to get the shot very quickly, I find these physical buttons are way faster than digging through the touchscreen. Another thing you'll notice is there is now a cover for the micro SD card slot, which gives it a little bit more protection, and that's a nice reassurance to have. The joystick also sticks out a little bit more, which I find is easier to control the camera overall. And taking a look at the bottom of the camera, the USB-C port is faster now, which helps with both quick charging and transferring files to your computer. One of my favorite upgrades is the built-in storage. The Pocket 4 now has 107 gigabytes of storage, which gives you roughly 3 hours of recording time if you're shooting 4K 24 frames per second. Having built-in storage is also really nice. If you ever forget your card, you can still record, or depending on how you shoot, you may not even need to buy an SD card right away. Now, if you pick up the Creator Combo, the Pocket 4 also comes with a few extra accessories. You get the DJI Mic 3 transmitter, the wide-angle lens, mini tripod adapter, a couple soft carrying pouches, and the new magnetic fill light. And if you look at the back of the Pocket 4, you'll notice these little metal pins, and that is what allows the light to snap onto the back of the camera and draw power directly from it. Unfortunately, we don't get the battery handle or the hard case that you would get on the Pocket 3. Instead, DJI gives you this little gimbal clamp, which does protect the camera, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I definitely prefer the old case as it allows you to store a few more accessories. So overall, there are definitely some upgrades with the Pocket 4, but the real question is whether the footage actually looks better. So let's head out and put these two cameras side by side. So in these examples, I have both cameras set to their default auto settings and shooting in the normal 10-bit color. I'm really curious to know which one you actually prefer. At first glance, I expected there to be a bigger difference between the two. In good lighting, both cameras are very close to each other, and there are actually some moments where I prefer the image out of the Pocket 3. To me, the Pocket 3 has a little bit more contrast, and that just makes the colors feel very saturated and overall just a very neutral look. The Pocket 4 still looks good, but in these default settings, I do notice it tends to expose the image a bit brighter. And even though the Pocket 4 has better dynamic range, those highlights actually look clipped in comparison because the camera is trying to lift the exposure. I also noticed the Pocket 4 can look a bit warmer and a bit pinkier compared to the Pocket 3. Now, to be fair, these are default settings, so you could bring the exposure compensation down or adjust the white balance so that way you get an image that looks closer to what you want. Another big change when it comes to the Pocket 4 is now we have the D-Log profile. This is not the same as the D-Log M as on the Pocket 3, which still looks great and you can have flexibility to color grade your video. But with the Pocket 4 D-Log, the full profile, you have even more latitude, more details in the highlights as well as in the shadows. And so you get a much flatter look with D-Log compared to the D-Log M found on the Pocket 3. So if you like to color grade your videos, you're definitely going to have more latitude with the Pocket 4 thanks to that DLOG as well as the 14 stops of dynamic range. But let's say you don't want to color grade your videos. Well, the Pocket 4 has these color modes built into the camera. So if you want a more cinematic vibe, you can actually just switch to these modes and even dial back the percentage if you want something a little bit more subtle. We'll swipe through a few of these examples. All of these are 100%, so they're a little bit intense, but there's some great different ones in there if you want to get a more custom look to your video. Next up, we're going to compare the slow motion features. The Pocket 4 can now shoot 4K up to 240 frames per second, which is pretty crazy considering how small this little camera is. Now the Pocket 3 could shoot 240 frames per second, but only at 1080p, or if you do want 4K, you are limited to 120 frames per second. So basically with the Pocket 4, you can now get that super slow motion look while still keeping a bit more detail. So if you're looking to do more short form vertical content, you can actually do that in the portrait mode, which we are recording in right now. You are limited to 3K resolution, and that is the same on both cameras. So the Pocket 4 doesn't have any real upgrades in terms of its vertical recording. It would have been really nice to see something like OpenGate, which would allow us to have both the landscape video and then we could later reframe for vertical. Fortunately, we do not have that on the Pocket 4. But if you're just uploading quickly to social media, 3K is more than enough for those needs. Now, if you plan on taking photos with your Pocket camera, the Pocket 4 gets some pretty significant upgrades when it comes to photos. You can now shoot 37 megapixel photos and also have the ability to shoot JPEG and RAW. And in comparison, the Pocket 3 could only do 9 megapixel photos and you only had JPEG. So that is a pretty big difference when we are looking purely at photo quality. Now, I still don't think the Pocket 4 or Pocket 3 is a great photo camera, but if this is the camera that you have with you, or maybe it's your only camera while traveling, it's really nice to have that extra resolution and the ability to shoot RAW. And speaking of flexibility, one of my favorite tools for speeding up the editing process is today's sponsor, Gling. Instead of manually editing out the mistakes in my video, Gling automatically removes silences, filler words, and bad takes, giving me a rough cut of my video in just a few minutes. Plus, I love that you can edit your video off the transcript. You can just highlight a sentence, press delete, and it will make that edit for you. And once you're done, you can export straight into an editing program where all your cuts are in place and you can even fine tune it afterwards. I use Gling on every video that I make, including this one, and it easily saves me hours each time. If you want to try it for free, check out the link in the description down below to see how much time Gling can save you. Now let's talk about one of the biggest reasons why you'd want to buy a Pocket camera in the first place, and that is stabilization. And yes, while your phone or action camera can have really good stabilization, most of the time that is happening digitally. But with these Pocket cameras, the camera is physically moving on this 3-axis gimbal. And this gives the footage a very different kind of look, and it feels much more natural and floaty. To put this to the test, I first did a walking test, me just moving around at a normal pace just to see how it holds up. And here is what it looks like when running with the camera to really put it to the test. Comparing the two side by side, it's a little hard to tell which one is better. The Pocket 3 is already very impressive when it comes to these kinds of shots, but to my eye, the Pocket 4 does seem slightly smoother. I would say it has this more floaty look to it. So it's nice to see that there is a little bit of an improvement here. All right, so now we're gonna test out the tracking on the Osmo Pocket 3 and the 4. As I move around, I'm gonna go behind this tree to see if it loses me, come back around. And it looks like the Pocket 4 picked up on me a little bit quicker. And I also noticed that the Pocket 4 is a little bit smoother overall, whereas sometimes on the 3, it loses you and then it quickly finds your face again. But in general, the 4 is just a little bit smoother. Also, another great feature with the tracking mode is if you're vlogging yourself, it's a great use case. You can just throw on tracking and not have to worry about if you're framed up properly. You can easily just move the camera around and know that you'll be framed up properly thanks to that tracking mode. Now, one downside of these Pocket cameras is they don't really zoom in on the action, but you can go up to 2x on the Pocket 3 using this mid-tele setting. This is useful if you are trying to get a little bit more reach out of your camera, but you cannot change the setting once you've hit record. So you always have to stop recording and then switch over the lens. But on the Pocket 4, DJI added this dedicated zoom button so you can just quickly jump between 1x, 2x, and now 4x. To be clear, this is still digital zoom, so you're going to lose quality the further you zoom in. I'd probably stray away from using the 4X as you do notice a loss in image quality, but for casual use this is nice to have, and that dedicated zoom button really makes switching between the different angles much easier. All right, so we got a quick audio test here, just testing out the internal mics on both camera. First, we'll switch over to the Pocket 3. I've always been impressed with how good this internal microphone sounds, so I'm curious if the Pocket 4 sounds better or just the same. Let me know if you guys hear any sort of difference in the comments down below as I switch between the two. Now, if you decide to get the creator combo with the DJI Pocket 4, you'll get the DJI Mic 3, which you're actually listening to right now. I really like this microphone. I think it sounds pretty great, and it's a nice small profile. I have it just magnetically clipped to my shirt. So great thing about this is if you step away and you're further from the camera, you're still gonna get consistent audio. Now, if you get the creator combo on the Pocket 3, you'll get the DJI Mic 2, which is a bit more bulky and chunky, and it kind of drags on your shirt a little bit more. So I definitely prefer the comfortability of the Mic 3 paired with the Pocket 4. When we take these two cameras into a low light setting, this is where we're going to notice the Pocket 4 pull ahead. Compared to the Pocket 3, the 4 is much brighter, there's less noise, and it seems to hold on to the color a bit better, giving you a more saturated image. You can also see more detail in the shadows thanks to that higher dynamic range. So if you're walking around at night or in darker settings, the Pocket 4 does give you a cleaner looking image. Now, it's not perfect. The Pocket 4 footage can feel a little bit more processed in comparison to the Pocket 3. If you're watching on a smaller screen, you probably won't notice a huge difference, but I can definitely tell that there is some detail that is getting smoothed over, like in my beard or skin. So overall, there is an improvement in terms of low light. The image is brighter, cleaner, and a little bit more usable in certain situations. But if you're filming in complete darkness, this is where that new magnetic fill light can come in handy. With the Pocket 4, this just snaps right onto the back of the camera, and you can adjust the brightness, the color temperature, and even adjust the angle a bit. And this is definitely helpful if you're filming to low to no lighting. This can definitely help illuminate your scene. It definitely has a very harsh and direct feel to it, and at full brightness, it can be a little hard to look directly at the camera. But if you're filming somewhere really dark and just need a little bit of light on your face, this can definitely help you in a pinch. Now I want to talk about the battery life. I did notice that the Pocket 4 lasted longer on average. DJI claims you can get around 4 hours, but I wanted to test this for myself. So I set both cameras to 4K 24 frames per second, hit record, and just let them run. And the Pocket 3 lasted around 2 hours and 15 minutes while the Pocket 4 kept going. And it actually filled up the SD card and stopped recording and turned itself off. So I deleted it, hit record, and let it continue. By the end, I got around 3.5 hours on the Pocket 4, so a little over an extra hour of battery life, which is a pretty big difference. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the Pocket 4 creator combo does not come with the battery handle like we did have on the Pocket 3, which did give you an extra hour of battery. So once you factor that in, maybe it's not that big of a difference, but I do prefer having more battery built in directly to the camera, as it's one less accessory to bring and one less thing to worry about. Keep in mind though, if you do need to recharge these cameras, both recharge very quickly, but I did notice that the Pocket 4 charged quicker, getting to around 80% in about 20 minutes. So personally, I don't think battery life is a huge concern on either of these cameras, especially if you keep a small battery bank on you. So that brings us to the big question: which camera should you buy? Should you hang on to your Pocket 3? Should you upgrade to the Pocket 4? What if you don't have a camera? Which one should you get? First off, if you're buying your first Pocket camera, I do think the Pocket 4 is the one to get. It improves on a lot of little things that just make the overall experience a bit better. Things like built-in storage, having those dedicated zoom and custom buttons, or even the gesture controls, which I forgot to mention. If you want to control your camera from a distance, you can just use a few of these gestures, which makes filming just really simple. And again, having full D-Log in a little camera like this is just so nice to have. But if you don't need those features, honestly, the Pocket 3 is still such a great camera. And again, it maybe you're in the US and you can only get access to the Pocket 3. I still think this is a fantastic camera if you're going to go out, film yourself, vlog with. It's really hard to beat this camera even today. But let me know in the comments, are you upgrading to the Pocket 4 or are you sticking with the Pocket 3? And if you want to get the most out of your camera, then check out this video on screen where we break down the best settings for your Pocket camera.